banana. If you ever get a nose ring, I think I've seen some that have a banana, instead of the ring.
Cool.
That would be kind of neat. Could do that.
That would be pretty based. I'd love that.
Yeah. If you do it, let us know, because I definitely want to see pics.
Pointless conversation.
That he's simultaneously been recording to take notes on later.
Banana, you changed, man. You changed.
Yeah. I don't think I like the new banana.
The old banana.
It's funny because
care.
when we were getting into our sequels discussion, I was about to say that, I think the biggest issue is capitalism.
I did three.
Wow, that's a world record. I mean,
I'm so proud.
Is there a world record for this? I mean, if there is,
Google. I can manipulate them. Oh no.
Before we begin, the Gamers Advocate would like to remind you that any episode could contain game spoilers, so watch or listen with discretion. And now your hosts, AM Comnenos, Banana, and Legion. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another episode of the Gamers Advocate podcast. I'm joined with the glorious and infamous BananaHammockRepublic.
I don't know about either of those words, but hi.
Illustrious. And myself, Legion Gray. Also, just Legion is fine. Gaming routines. I don't really know how to label this, but I really like the idea of just casually discussing things that maybe I enjoy doing before I start digging into a game. Maybe something that depending on the game that you like to do. Well, when we say routines, of course, we mean like things that we may set up for ourselves before we start gaming, while we're gaming. What's the environment like? Do we prefer to game at night? Do we prefer to game during the day? I was just kind of really curious about like how you have your setup and what you do when you start playing, or is it game dependent? I know for me it's very based on the season, and I didn't realize this about myself until much later on. But like once we get closer to autumn and winter, I have a very different setup. And it's just one of those where I don't plan on getting up anytime soon. I have no problems with the cold. I love the cold. You can put on a sweater, you can put on layers. Yep. Gaming for me, if I'm in that zone, I'm probably firing up something like Icewind Dale. But I rely a lot on my tavern games. So I either have my hot beverage, or I will have a tasty beverage, which could be a number of things, but usually it's I actually find these meads, and I have developed a palate for different meads. And so there's the kind of mead that aren't too sweet. Others that can be, but I actually found a place or two, and so I can do that while I'm doing my tavern games. It's such a nice little cozy feeling. But anyway, that's where I'm kind of initially partial to is the autumn, winter time of gaming. But do you have anything that you're kind of partial to that you're aware of?
I definitely know that, like, especially now that I'm back at working and I have like less time for myself, when I know I have like the opportunity to come home and game, I look forward to it, and I definitely think like, oh, I'm gonna get, my snacks set up. They're gonna be right beside me at my desk. I'm gonna get my drinks. I'm probably gonna throw on, like either a Twitch stream or a movie or something that's off on like a second monitor. And if I'm gonna play a game with a controller, I've got like all of that stuff set up ahead of time. If I have like any resources, like with Baldur's Gate 3, I've still been working on some build guide videos for that. I have like the wiki up on another page, and like if I need to refer to any kind of resources for that game, I'll have that all set up ahead of time. And there's just a lot of that. Like, all right, I'm going to sit here and rot for the next 3 hours or something. I'm going to focus on that and make sure I am in, exactly the state I want to be.
Yeah, I don't sit there and think, okay, I'm going to sit here for like 2-3 hours. I have a clock inside my head that says, all right, I'm good for an hour. If I go longer than that, I'm good. But I also don't think I'm coming from the normal point of view, because a lot of what I do is with the mindset of presentation of the media. So even when I'm playing casually, I'm thinking, is there something here that I'm going to need to go to OBS real quick and start recording so that way I have it as B footage? Or if I think a crazy scene's coming up, that I was like, this is new. I played this game a dozen times and I've never seen this. I'm going to start kind of like leaning over into it. So when I sit down and, like you said, rot for an hour or two, I don't ever get into that mode. But the one good thing is that a lot of these are single player games that me and you play, so there's no problem there.
There's definitely some of that. And that's another thing, like with my snack selection, like I'm either going to be using my keyboard and mouse or my controller. So like a snack that has me with like powder all over my hands is going to be a terrible choice. So there's like the smallest amount of planning that goes into it, but there's planning.
Yeah. Is there a type of beverage you prefer to have when you're
kind of depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing like a community game and chatting with people, I'll probably do something alcoholic. So I'll probably have a beer, just because that makes everybody funnier. But if I'm just sitting by myself or whatever, I'll probably just have soda. I am a huge soda drinker. Probably not a good thing, but whatever. I like it. So yeah, I have like Diet Pepsi or whatever in my fridge and stuff. I
was going to ask you your favorite of the beers. What's your favorite beer then? Or what would you game with? Like, is there a favorite beer versus one that you would actually game with?
So my favorite beer is called Dragon's Milk. It's a bourbon barrel aged stout, and I'm a huge fan. But the beer I probably game with is Yingling. So for me, Yingling is kind of like that. Like, if you're gonna have quite a few beers, or if you're just gonna be like continuously drinking, Yingling is my beer of choice. Just because like I can continuously drink that and be content. Whereas Dragon's Milk, I think, is like 11.5% or something. So if I'm having a few of those, I should probably be paying attention to like just how quickly I'm drinking.
Yeah, any of those bourbon barrel aged are really good. You have my attention at that point. I love those a lot.
Oh yeah. They're pretty good.
What about the hot? You mentioned no, you didn't. I mentioned the hot drinks. That was. And you mentioned your cold drinks for the. You said the diet. That's what I was going to ask you. Which one did you prefer? But Diet Pepsi, you said.
Yeah. So I've been trying to focus a little more on my diet and lose a little bit of weight. So diet sodas are becoming more common for me. I am a huge Dr. Pepper fan, but since I've moved out to the Midwest, I'm finding that Dr. Pepper, specifically diet sodas, are not as available here as they were on the East Coast. And Diet Dr. Pepper is crazy expensive.
It
So
may just be
I've been getting like store brand stuff.
It's interesting that you say it's hard to find where you're at because it's from Texas, Dr. Pepper. It's originally from here, so.
Well, so Dr. Pepper itself is available, but my personal favorite within the Dr. Pepper family was their version of cream soda.
Yeah.
And that is not a thing here.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
Get some cream soda on your own, like a 2-liter or something. Add it to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for in my grocery stores, and I see like store brand cream soda, but I don't see any like diet cream soda.
Yeah, that's fine. Just the regular.
Well,
whatever works. Okay. You know.
For somebody who's quite a bit healthier than I am, yeah, you would say that. But
just do what you got to do. You know.
I need to shave calories off wherever I can.
When I was newly married, Kim would bring home a pound cake, and I only remember this because I was like playing Baldur's Gate at the time, and I was sitting there. It was like, you bought it because it wouldn't like her to like get a cake like out of the blue like that. Just one her. She said, it's fat free. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's calorie free. You know,
Yeah.
so, and she was like, she was so happy that she was like, I got a cake, but it said it's fat free. I was like, yeah, it's fat free, but there's calories in it. She's like, I didn't think about that. And I remember I was playing Baldur's Gate at the time when she came in, and I was like, one of those Baldur's Gate memories. But
That's I think that's a big thing in the US actually, is that like there was a push for fat-free options. And that's why everything has so much sugar in it at this point.
yeah, the early 2000s. Yeah.
That's how they made fat-free stuff taste good, and now we're all very large.
For me, if like I said, for the seasonal, if I do a hot drink, I love hot chocolate. Just love hot chocolate. But you add a little bit of Irish cream, maybe. It's pretty tasty. Pretty tasty.
That's I agree. I am entirely on board with that. I'm a huge hot chocolate fan, and Irish cream in particular, another big favorite of mine. So like Irish coffee, also a big fan of. So I agree.
Some of even though I love whiskey, I have a lot of bourbons in the house, and some of my favorite drinks are from Ireland. I love Guinness. Guinness is my thing. Guinness is my beer. That's the one I drink. I can just pound those too. It's not healthy, but
They are well, so that's the thing. Guinness is surprisingly low calorie, because most people think of Guinness as like a very heavy drink, but it's not very dense, so it is like relatively not terrible for you. I mean, it's a beer. It's not good for you, but it's not bad.
But yeah, that, and there's a lot of Irish whiskeys that are really good too. They do their pot stills really, really well. So if it's not a bourbon, I do like some Irish whiskeys out there. Some of my favorite ones are like Green Stop and Green Spot. And there's a friend of mine. You play fantasy football. I play fantasy football. But in our fantasy league, there's this guy who he has an aversion to whiskey, but he'll try it every once in a while with us when we get together. And I brought some from called Redbreast. Redbreast is great, is by far the best one. And he could not remember the name of it, so he still refers to it. He's like, bring some of them chicken tits.
Yep. I am not surprised.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yingling just recently became available in Texas.
Yeah, I moved back to the Midwest, and now Yingling is available here, which was a surprise to me. Because when I was living out here 10 years ago, Yingling was not distributing to the Midwest.
Landshark, it's a lager. It's really good. And Blue Moon, if it's like a hotter day, hotter night, Blue Moon is excellent. I think you have that, if you have that with like because they always like advertise like with a little bit of orange. I think they have a little bit of orange in their thing.
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of orange
it.
flavoring, or like they use orange peels in the brewing process. And then they advertise like putting and land sharks are typically served with like a lime slice as well. So like those are your solid summertime beer.
You like Mexican beers? The only one I like is Pacifico. It's not known everywhere, but I think it's more of like a West Coast type thing. But you can find it in Florida and Texas and all in there. But Pacifico, I think, is probably the closest thing to Land Shark.
You're not an El Presidente fan? Yeah,
No
one is.
Yeah.
That beer is terrible.
I don't like Modelo or none of those either. Any kind of outfits you like to dig into if you know you're going to be in for a good gaming session?
So I definitely have like my relaxing outfits. I have my kind of like relaxed wear. I have a pair of like, I guess like athletic pants. They have like the elastic waistband and then a drawstring, and they're just kind of like a little bit baggy, and like a polyester material. And I've had them for so long that there is no elastic left in the waistband. It's just the drawstring. And that is very much like, yep, I'm going to sit on the couch or I'm going to sit at my desk and I'm just going to rot and I'm going to wear these pants. I'm not going to see another person who's going to judge me on what I'm wearing. It's just, these are comfortable for me.
Yeah. You can get some of those suspenders with the clips so that way.
Yeah, that's almost what I need at this point.
Yeah. I have that Mass Effect hoodie, the only hoodie that I have, and I wear that now when it gets cold in this room, which, you know, days like today it's 100 degrees, but later on, probably around maybe end of October, maybe it'll start getting a little chilly enough to be into this room and not be, you know, super hot. Then, like I said, that hoodie comes out, and it's just a Mass Effect hoodie. It has the little N7 lines on the shoulder. I think you have one too, right?
Yeah, I think I have that same hoodie. I also have a couple of like fleece lined hoodies.
Well, that's what that one is. It's a fleece one. Yeah.
Oh, my version of the N7 hoodie is not.
We're talking about two different things. I do have it. Okay, so I do have a hoodie that's like an outside thing, but it's an hoodie. OODIE.
Oh yeah. I have one of those as well. Not N7, not BioWare associated, but just plain black, and that is yeah, winter months, that's like the most comfortable thing. I don't have to turn the heat on in my house because I have one of those. And I guess just from living in the Northeast for a while, like I have a lot more hoodies and like sweatshirts that I'll just throw on. And that's the other part of that, like just getting comfy, and like I can, whatever temperature it is outside, and bring my house to a reasonable temperature and throw one of those on and be comfortable the whole time. And I don't have to worry about like being a little too cold or anything. And I don't have to worry about like a blanket draped over me while I'm trying to use my hands or anything. So yeah, I've definitely got my gaming hoodies for all sorts of of weather.
I have these lights, you know, that are like those little fairy lights for, you know, some people have for like the streaming stuff. They actually, like when I have the room completely dark and it's just that, it actually is really good ambient light for me. I don't need much. So between the monitors and the little light, it's nice to have that on when I have all the lights off.
Yeah, I definitely have I have that, like that memory of gaming in a room where like I'll shut the blinds, I'll draw the curtains or whatever and get it nice and dark, and then just have like whatever kind of ambient lighting that I want. That's not like, I don't need the room to be bright, and I don't need anything that'll cast a glare on my screen.
Right.
But having I have like one of those little projection lights that like shines up on the ceiling, does like a nice pattern. Having one of those on is enough.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Especially if I'm playing like a space game, that sets the mood. So Mass Effect with that on.
Yeah, they have those little things that project like a nebula on the ceiling and stuff. Those would be kind of neat. Yeah, I imagine that would work.
That's exactly it.
You mentioned before that the other things that you have on, like say another monitor and stuff. So you don't have like podcasts or videos specifically as white noise?
Not specific videos. Sometimes I'll have like, it's usually like a TV show that I've seen before. It's not something that like I want to pay attention to and like get a new experience of. So it's usually like a lot of Futurama or something like that. But for some games where like the game holds more of my attention, and there's some kind of strategy or something that I'll be trying to do, or maybe I'm trying like a specific challenge within that game, I like having another monitor with, you know, the wiki for that game up or something like that, where I can quickly refer to what's going on. Or if I'm playing DBD and I don't know what perks do because I have, you know, limited hours in that game, having the wiki up and be like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this is pretty useful.
Yeah, I have sometimes I'll put on a podcast or two. It just kind of depends. But you're right. I tend to lean into the ones that I've seen or heard before because I've heard it, and if nothing else, doesn't distract me from what I'm trying to do on the game. You know?
Yeah, exactly that. I want to watch something that I know I'm gonna like, but if I miss part of it, I'm not gonna be upset about it.
Yeah, and the videos, if I put anything up on there, it's more or less for research purposes. It's like, okay, so what did they do that maybe is similar enough to what I do or different enough to what I do, and why did theirs work? And I can't watch things passively anymore. It's always for research purposes. But the exception to all this is baseball and football. Like if there's a football game on, I'll just have that on, and I can definitely hear. It's more of a, like, obviously something you need to be seen, so I can't always connect it. But baseball, I've been able to do this since I was like a kid, 6-7 years old. I can retain baseball memory. I don't have a good memory, obviously. Banana can attest to that. But what I hear in baseball sticks, and yeah, so that's not hard.
Yeah, I definitely think that's another part of it with especially with, like, we've talked, we both do fantasy football, and in fantasy football there's a lot of the game doesn't matter. A non-scoring play or a play that doesn't involve a turnover, overwhelmingly not going to be a huge deal for your fantasy team. But having that football game up, just having like that kind of background awareness of what's going on, and like, oh, they're moving into scoring position, I might want to pause my game and watch for the next few seconds. That's a pretty solid routine that I'll fall into during football season.
Do you have a common name that you use year after year for your fantasy team?
So one of them, the league I've been in the longest, my team name is Wizards of Place, which is a play on Wizards of Waverly Place. The reason I picked that, I'm not even a Wizards of Waverly Place fan. I just picked that because it's fantasy football. Yeah. So gotcha. Having a wizard was my funny little, look at how clever I am. It's fantasy.
Wizards
and I made a little
what was the name of it?
Wizards of Last Place.
Oh, Last Place. Okay.
Yeah. And if you're anybody who's in like the D&D world, or likes the idea of minis, is probably familiar with Hero Forge. There's a website where you can create custom minis by kind of using their modular components and building up a character. And I built like a little wizard throwing a football with a helmet on in that, and that's like my little picture within our league.
Can you imagine how nerdy that would be? Like all league mates full of D&D fans, and you're all like doing the same thing. That would be too much, but that'd be good. That would be a good thing. A good too much. So
yeah, that's I I feel like the league I'm in isn't too far off from that.
Yeah, finding 12 friends that are all into D&D would be hard, I think. That play fantasy football. That's a rare. That's a unicorn.
I set up a league this year, and finding 12 friends was hard.
Yeah.
12 friends with that shared interest would be so much harder.
Well, the best way to do that is like if somebody has a friend of a friend that likes fantasy football. Usually that's the way to go. So
yeah.
But yeah, mine is normally, if I do have a different one for a different league, but I go with Tree Fitty, like from South Park. I love Sheriff's parents so much. And when they showed up, I was just like, that hit a vein. Tree Fitty.
Yeah, they have like one of my favorite lines in that series. There's like, I can't remember exactly what it was. It's like, that's what I noticed, that this little girl was about 200 feet tall for the late Cretaceous period, or something along those lines.
The Paleolithic era.
Yeah. It's just such like a hilarious like revelation to come to.
I think he said the Paleomythic era, which is one of my favorite lines. It's the Paleomythic era. Yeah. And somebody who studied a lot of marine biology and stuff. I just love that.
Yeah. Great. And it's just so wonderful that like the absurdity of that line. Mm-hmm. That one sticks with me.
Yeah. And then Chef's parents don't even call him by his name. Like you're going to think you get his. No, they call him Chef. Chef. You going to marry that woman, Chef?
Yep.
It's like your parents calling you engineer. Engineer. Crazy.
I mean, my parents called me a lot of things, but not that.
Do you have like any figurines or logo or any kind of game memorabilia around your desk usually?
I do. So they are not out right now because they're still in a box somewhere. I'm still unpacking because I'm super lazy. But I have from the World of Final Fantasy game, if anybody's familiar with that, they do a lot of what's called like the chibi art style for Final Fantasy characters. And I have a lot of or I have a collection of I think 5 of them from that game. So I think it's Cloud and Sephiroth, which were like the two really cool ones in my collection. Lightning and Selphie. So Lightning's from Final Fantasy 13, Selphie's from Final Fantasy 8, and Squall from Final Fantasy 8. And they are usually kind of spread out around my desk. And I really enjoy that set. I'm looking into kind of expanding, but like that collection, I don't think you can find those as easily anymore since, you know, that game's been out for years. They're not advertising for it anymore, but I definitely have those just scattered around on my desk as a little decoration.
I've got all the Mass Effect ones that BioWare's been releasing. The Garrus, the Liara, all them. They've only done the Shepherds as re-releases from other toy manufacturers, so they're not their own little thing. So I have one. It's a that's not from BioWare directly though. It's a Shepherd and it's really good. I love it. It's about this tall or so, and I think I think I sent you pictures before, but I've never put it on our Discord channel, but I can put them there if you want. But I have like I just recently got my 2B in.
Oh yeah.
I need to show. I finally unboxed that one. It's been sitting in. I've been waiting for like a year and a half, and then it got like delayed because of tariff stuff. Like, oh great,
yeah,
wonderful timing. And then I finally got it in and put it together. So, but I have that.
I definitely remember you telling me like, you were excited for that delivery, and then telling me that you were still excited for that delivery. Like
3 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, I have the Shepherd helmet, but I've worn that before during our podcast. But yeah, and I have, of course, all of my collector's edition CD stuff from the Baldur's Gate, and I have the Icewind Dale too, or somewhere over there. But since I've just used the green screen, there's no point in showing everything. Plus, I'm probably going to move things around here before too long. But I have one of my favorite things. I guess it is my most expensive gaming merch. Is the full Lilith. She's not full size, but she's I think she's 36 inches. She's huge. The yard.
Yeah. Yeah. My little chibi decorations are maybe about 1.5 inches tall each. So
yeah.
That's a pretty significant difference.
Yeah, she's got the wings and she's holding the Diablo skull, and I love it. Definitely right up my alley. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of there's just little things I have around here. And I have I wouldn't call this a decoration, but it's always on my desk. Star Wars key to get in.
Oh yeah.
If I lose this, then because I've tried the app on my phone, it does not work. So if I ever, I'm out of luck if I don't have this. Yes, I still play Star Wars: The Old Republic. At me in the comments.
I don't think I have too much. That's another thing that I've noticed, like with kind of getting more into like the online communities and stuff. I see a lot of people who have that like that display behind them or something along those lines, where like they have a shelving unit or something that's just filled with all of the memorabilia from their favorite games. And it makes me a bit jealous because like I would love to have something like that, but I never invest in those kind of things for myself. Like people who know me will like occasionally receive a gift on Steam from me or something, and then they'll be like, "So are you excited about this game coming out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna wait until it goes on sale," because I will never buy things for myself, but I will happily buy things for other people, and that's why I don't have my little collection of cool gaming stuff to display. It's because I don't buy stuff for myself.
Yeah, with me, it's more of like I just kind of comes my way and I just kind of like gobble it up. I'm like, oh, you know. But where it all stems from is it's kind of funny because it's not really gaming first from that habit. It's more of like an art collection because I have a ton of things from artists that I have. I've shown you before. I get these things from time to time from some of my favorite artists, and this guy, he's Jermaine. He's from Houston originally. He did a lot of his art out of New York and whatnot, but he makes these are called Darrows, and we're green screened and he's green tinted. So, but anyway, this is like his thing. It's like a little bear. So this would look like it's some kind of like gaming thing or something, but it's just part of the art world. And I have like so many like art things on the wall, and that's where that all comes from. So it's like, oh, well, if I get a chance to pick up like some gaming stuff, you know, it's neat. But it has to fit that aesthetic, I think, because I have a lot of horror based stuff too. So,
yeah, I think you've shown some of your art on stream or on the podcast before, and you have a lot of that kind of dark, almost Geiger-esque art.
Yeah, I think I have one right here. Here's one of my newer ones. But this glows in the dark, so it's kind of it's just
that's not what I meant by dark, but yeah,
it glows in the dark. But yeah, and his eyes, if you kind of like take a black light to it, I think they glow a little bit. It's just the kind of paint he used, but. I mean, like I said, that's where my collecting comes from. It's the gaming is almost like by the way. It's like, oh, I found this, but it can't just be because it's cute or something. It has to be like, you know, a little on the edge. I guess the 2B is she's kind of cute, but that's about it. I have a Jack statue I have not unboxed.
Well, what the hell?
I could do that. Let's do that.
Were you just thinking, speaking of cute?
Tally.
Oh, well, that's different.
Thought it was Jack.
That's all right. We love Tally, too.
See, that makes me wonder, where's my Jack? Now I don't know. now I'm really questioning things. I don't like that.
But yeah, I mean, that's just it. Like, I would love collecting Mass Effect memorabilia and stuff like that, and obviously like Final Fantasy stuff. I did start. So, for fans who have followed the series, they know that like, at least through the first 10 games, I think it's probably true beyond that, but I don't know them as well. Every kind of like box art for the games had like a symbol, just kind of like a colorful emblem that accompanied the title on the box, and I set aside some art supplies and started like making little canvas cutouts of there we go. Little canvas cutouts of those symbols that I'm going to decorate my around my desk with. I think I've only managed to get through like 2 of them, but I did the Final Fantasy VII Meteor and tried to match like the color gradient that they have on it. So that would be kind of like my artistic collection to kind of sit around my gaming space. And eventually I will work my way through all of those, but that takes some time, and I need to set aside an actual space where I can do artwork here, because I haven't done that in so long. I'll get around to it eventually. I doubt I'll set up like the actual equipment to do any kind of streaming of artwork, but that might be cool.
What type of art is it again?
So the Final Fantasy like boxes for all of the games have like an emblem associated with that game, usually tied to something in the story. So in Final Fantasy VII, it was a meteor. I think in Final Fantasy VIII, it's actually Squall and Rhinoa holding each other, and it's kind of like a little bit more abstract than that. Like there's some other stuff going on, but that's essentially what it is. Every emblem is like this kind of somewhat abstracted image associated with the game, and it has this kind of pretty color gradient to it and everything, and it's just kind of like a pretty image to associate with the game itself. And I'm working my way through kind of my own versions of each of them.
Yeah, because I had the impression like you were making that from scratch or something.
Well, I'm personally drawing them, so I have like the reference up.
Okay.
And I'll do like a pencil drawing, and then the plan was to eventually do like the color gradient and like crayon or colored pencil, and then paint over it. But when I got to the colored pencil version of the Final Fantasy VII one, I was pretty happy with the way it looked. So I think that's probably where I'll stop with all of them.
Okay, so for context, the one that BioWare released has a little bit of heft to it. There's a little bit of weight to it. The stand's not that much, and they're numbered. So like, this is the one that BioWare did originally. It's got a stand there. It's neat. It's just a scene. But the other one was this one where she's actually standing. So this one's got a little bit of heft to it. It's probably a little bit better quality, but this one's not bad. I really like this one. I like how it shows her Omni tool. Oh, this is my newest piece of art from Jedzar that I got. Hold on. Didn't see it till just now. This guy's the smoker.
Oh.
This is made on this like a metal type, slate type.
Oh.
Thing. So that was real reflective. So he has to do it all black. The other one was made on a kind of stone thing, so it's more reflective. Again, certain aesthetic here. I have a Rex here.
Everybody loves a Rex.
You can do like a sexy Rexy.
Welcome to our unboxing episode.
Here's a gift to me from me for finishing on Insanity or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, what a challenge for you.
I need
that thing you've done so many times.
I need to finish it up again on our channel because I'm having fun doing it.
I think I need to go back and do I think I told you I lost my ME1 save, so I can't import it, and I don't think I've finished that, but I think I've made a lot of progress, so I can import that in and do Mass Effect 2 again. I gotta check where that is.
But by unboxing, that means I have to find a place for it, and that's the part I don't know.
Yep, there's the challenge.
Jeopard.
Don't you point at me, Rex?
Yeah, but like I said, having the little things, it's for me, it's obviously digging in, getting comfortable, and this is why my son has an Xbox One that he just recently set up finally, and they can just sit down on the couch and game. I'm like, can't do that. I have to be at my desk.
That used to be a thing for me. I can't do that anymore, and I don't know why. But
yeah,
it's so much easier for me to it used to be so much easier for me to just sit down and game, and then I guess that was back before I had like real responsibilities.
True. Also, I guess it'd be a little I take it for granted that on this channel doesn't share the same information as on my channel, but if you do want any discounts on any merchandise for BioWare, I have a code for that. I think it's just Legion 20. when you go to their website. That should be good for about 3 months, 2.5 months, something like that. But I think it's Legion 20. I can double check that. But
yeah, I think that's what your latest bot message said on stream.
Just Legion with the number 20, no space or anything. And if you do that, I think it's 10% off your purchase there at the Bioware store. So anyway, just in case you need that. I don't really get anything out of it, so it's just pass it on to you.
Are there any other like games that you have a routine of like playing once a year or playing at a certain time of year?
Sometimes Civilization will creep in. For whatever reason, when I'm in like the deep winter, and let's say maybe it's a Saturday or something, and maybe the electricity may or may not be 100%. We don't know. I may put on a game that I don't have to worry about immediacy. Like I'm not going to play a Souls game that there is a possibility of losing power or something. I don't even risk it. So I'll do something that's more turn-based, which that's where you can get more turn-based in Civilization. So I think it's more of a matter of not. I call it preference, but it's not really preference. It's just something's going on in my psyche that says, don't play anything that's too risky. That could just you're invested in it, and now you've lost all that progress. It's probably something like that. I agree with that. Like I definitely think if I'm sitting and playing like a story focused game that doesn't have like an autosave or something while it's storming or whatever out, I'm begging for disappointment there. Yeah, so I can dig into that, but of course the problem is you can't just play Civilization for 1 or 2 turns. It's always like the next turn, the next turn, the next turn. So,
yeah.
So you can put hours into it.
It's a time investment, but it's got that auto save that lets you load the most recent turn. So that's pretty reliable.
We talked a little bit in the last episode that we published about Anno, and because I like Anno, it is very complex and it's very like to me it's like almost overly complex for what I want to do with that type of game, but it's there. So but they had a sale because their next Anno game, the Pax Romana or whatever it is, the Roman game, looks amazing. I'm gonna get sucked into it again, aren't I? But they have a sale on.
Oh no, I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, but they have all their DLCs for the 1800 are on sale, and I was like, gotcha. I have most of them, but I still lack a good 15 or something. And I was looking, I was like, I don't really need that one. I don't really need it. I was like, oh wait a minute, that's an Eldritch one skin. Here's a horror one. So then I was like, dadgummit, I'm gonna have to get these two. Yep. So I got some of those, which are really neat because really a lot of them are just more or less skins. So you can actually have like your noble area, your like cast different areas, the middle class, the lower class. And they have different building types. And so some of that unlocks them. Some of it's just pure aesthetics. That's all it is. You have a pirate theme. Love that one. So
I believe you.
lots of booty. But yeah, I'm like, I'm going to get sucked into this. And that's one of those games that like now I can kind of like, depending on the season or whatever, I can kind of like play along with that. I don't know. For some reason, those simulator games that do that just hit me a little bit harder. The Farthest Frontier that I play is one of those that's almost ready for full release, and that's one of those that it has its own seasons and stuff, but that's definitely a game that I could sit there and binge and play and do fantasy football and not lose a beat. I mean, it is the perfect game of that strategy meets just aesthetics and tempo. Oh, it's really good. They don't ask you to like merge cities to other regions to like satisfy the king's wishes or whatever. I mean, it's none of that. Just build up your city. That's it.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of those games that have that. If you're playing single player, which is kind of the only way this works, that have that option to like just pause the game and take a quick break, because life gets in the way so much more frequently now than it used to. I have so many experiences where I'm just like, oh, I gotta take a quick break, go like take Kiki for a walk, or she might need, comforting. There's a storm or something like that, or somebody's at the door, or somebody is calling me on the phone, something like that. It just seems like that happens so much more frequently now that I almost need games that kind of adapt to whatever else is going on.
Is there a favorite food you'd like to have when you're going to sit down and... Do you want something big so that way you don't have to like constantly snack while you're...
Oh, no, it's the exact opposite.
Okay.
I want something that I can eat for hours and hours and hours. Get full. I think it does depend on the situation. Like if I'm in a VC, I don't want something that I'm going to be crunching away at. But normally, like chips are a great one, although they do get my hands greasy, and then I have to clean my keyboard or my controller. I guess like it's typically like either chips or like a kind of like Chex Mix kind of thing that I have, that kind of like salty snack. I don't know why I associate that with gaming, but yeah, like I don't do a lot of like sweet snacks when I'm gaming.
Well, I know where we agree is the Indian food. Power up on Indian food beforehand, because I like to eat before I know I'm going to sit down and game for a while. I'm the exact opposite. I'm not the big snacker throughout.
So if anybody's been following our channel on other platforms, like on Twitch, I'll know that like while I was dealing with my move prep and stuff, I did occasional streams to keep myself organized, and I have treat streams set up there, so somebody like Legion can send me a meal while I'm working on whatever I'm doing. And because Legion appreciates Indian food as much as I do, pretty much every time he would select that option, and I was never disappointed. I feel like I could eat Indian every day and not get tired of it. So yeah, that's definitely one. Like if I'm gonna sit in a VC or something and I'm not gonna continuously snack, that's a great one to power up with before and just not get distracted, so I can focus on whatever it is that I'm doing.
What about the least? What would you say is the least favorite thing that you would opt into, food wise? I have one in the top of my head, but
if I'm going to be doing snacking and gaming at the same time, I want a snack that lets me like kind of stay focused on gaming, so I don't have to do that.
For me, it's wings. I like wings, but I cannot eat wings when I'm gaming. That's just how. How?
Yeah, that's the, unless you have boneless wings, which are just chicken nuggets, basically.
It's chicken nuggets.
And then you're eating, with silverware, which feels wrong for wings.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. So yeah, I agree. Wings that's a food I will probably eat when I'm not going to be using my hands for anything else.
Which sucks, because as we mentioned before, I will watch a football game or the football highlights when I'm gaming, and guess what? It's nothing but pizza and wings advertised constantly.
Wings are very appropriate for football season, and I love wings too. Like they're one of my favorites. I have like my own recipes for wing sauce, and I used to have a deep fryer for making my own wings at home, and I was very happy with those. But yeah, if you're going to be multitasking, wings do not cooperate. So it's a rough one.
It's interesting. I'd actually have a lot of salads, believe it or not, only when I'm gaming. And that's not been always the case. It's only been the last like 4 or 5 years. And I think it's mainly because it just, I don't know. It just satisfies me at that time. And I don't have to like keep coming. And I'm kind of forced to eat it right then and there, Nice little casual conversation of like gaming habits that, we may share with you guys. And of course, if you guys have any gaming habits of your own, routines you want to share, just put it in the comments and
Yeah, let us know your favorite gaming snacks so that I can steal those ideas and eat them myself.
Yeah. I definitely think this is something we could constantly come back to. And it's like, oh, this is what we did this week. This is what things we got. And maybe I can show you guys if I get anything in for the BioWare store or anywhere, really. We will check you guys later. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.